They have, I find, greatly improved their lace fronts. There's like a bajillion of them, and they all have this same cap. Perfect for someone who is a brunette and wanting to dabble in the blondes. This is just a nice transition color to try that. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to be giving you a quick review of the wig that's on my head called Milano by Belle Tress. And I'm also going to be showing you a similar straighter style by Belle Tress that you could kind of use as maybe a sister wig to this one when you don't want something wavy like this. But before I jump into it all, I'm going to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. All right, let me start off by saying how much I love this style. From this soft layering in the front here to these waves that are like barely there. It's like they're there, but they're just like barely there. Anyways, I think this style is absolutely gorgeous. It's also one that I don't find is too done up. So this is a style that I would feel comfortable wearing with, jeans and a t-shirt, but it's also a style where I would feel elegant and lovely in if I were to dress it up. So let me spin around for you guys, give you a full spinaroo so you can see it right off the bat, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. So I'm wearing this in the super popular color called Macadamia Latte Rooted. This is like the perfect blend of brunette and blonde. So what we have here is a combination of a 6 and a 12 and a 22. So what that is, the 6 is gonna be a medium brown and the 12 is gonna be a light, sort of a warmer brown that you see in here. So we have that medium and light brunette combination happening in here, as well as the fact that it is highlighted with these beautiful cooler blonde highlights all throughout. Plus, we have a root here of an 8, which is a medium brown. So all together, it creates this really beautiful blonde brown color, which would be perfect for someone who is a brunette and wanting to dabble in the blondes a little bit. This is just a nice transition color to try that. Let me take this off so that we can take a look at the inside of the cap. So Milano here comes from Belle Tress's City Collection. All of Belle Tress's City Collection styles have the exact same cap, minus one feature that might change from each cap. But let me walk you through this. I've walked you through this cap many times in the past, but I'm here to do it again because I know we always have some newcomers to the wig world here. So their City Collection cap is open wefted. That means that it is sewn into these rows here. You see all these rows here by a machine. This is not hand tied in this portion at all. It's all sewn into rows by a machine here. It's stretchy, it's ventilated, it's breathable. Stick your fingers through it. We also have these velvet ear tabs. Nice and comfy cozy. And inside the velvet ear tabs are these metal stays in them. The metal stays are there to help keep your wig more flush against your temples so that it's not flopping around anywhere. And this is what helps this become a glueless wig, so you don't need to glue anything down if you don't want to. We also have a velvet extended nape here, plus these Velcro adjusters that allow you to loosen or tighten your wig in the circumference. Also on these City Collection styles, so all the City Collection styles, like I said, are gonna have this same cap. They're also going to have this lace front that extends a little bit and melts into your ear tab. You can see it goes all the way to about here. So that lace front allows you to pull the fibers off of your face, all while maintaining a bit of an illusion of growth from your hairline. Now, the one thing that might be different from each City Collection style is the monofilament part. Now, all City Collection styles will have a monofilament part, but it's just whether or not this part is on the left or whether it's in the center. Milano here has a left monofilament part. So that means that the part of this wig is on the left-hand side of your head. And you have about this inch of space to play around with that part line. So, I mean, it's not a ton of space, but it does allow you to almost get a center part if you're willing to part it close to this seam here. So this is the gist of your City Collection styles. There's a ton of City Collection wigs by Belle Tress. They have many different collections in their city collection. They have their Spanish collection, their Italian collection, their British collection, their New York collection, their California collection. They're coming out with their international collection. There's like a bajillion of them, and they all have this same cap, other than, of course, like I said, either a left or center part. So that's just something to make sure you look at before you purchase, in case you really want a center part or you really want that left part. Okay, we'll put it on. I will let you know Milano fits very true to average. So I am a petite size. I measure 20.5 inches in circumference, 11.5 inches front to nape, and 11.5 inches ear to ear. So with my 20.5 inch circumference, I would bring the adjusters in a little bit just to help make it feel a little bit more snug. And with my front to nape measurements, because they are 11.5 inches, which is petite, that's gonna mean I have a little bit of extra bulk in this cap that I can pinch and squeeze. For someone like me, I don't mind that extra bulk. I wear a ton of average size wigs and just I deal with it. But if you're someone who wants that, like, you know, that wig that fits you like a glove, and you are a petite size like me, then you might not love that and you might not be able to deal with it like I do. And then in terms of my ear to ear measurements, I find this fits me perfectly ear to ear. So with wigs, you want your ear tabs sitting just above your ear crease. You don't want it right at your ear crease because that's gonna irritate you right in your ear crease. How many times can I say ear crease? It's gonna irritate you there. So it sits for me just above my ear crease and just in front, kind of where like sideburns would be in a way. That's sort of exactly where you want it to sit. If it's sitting too far back like that, then it might be a bit too small, or if it's sitting too far up, then it might be a bit too small. Anyways, that's the fit of Milano. Let me give you a peek at the lace front here. I do love Belle Tress's lace fronts. They have, I find, greatly improved their lace fronts from their original cafe collection that some of you might know of. These city collection lace fronts are much better, much more realistic, and they are one of my favorite lace fronts on the market. And then, like I said, Milano has a left part. So we can part this on the left side of our head, giving you that realistic appearance of hair growth from your scalp. But like I also said, because you have about an inch of space to work with, if you really wanted more of a center part, watch this. You can part it close to that seam, and that's pretty much gonna give you a center part. Like, that's pretty center if you ask me. So clearly right now, these fibers here, don't really want to go over there. That's because heat-friendly synthetic fibers like this, they need help with heat to get trained into the position that that you want them to go in. So you'll need to spray this with water, take some heat, either from like a hot comb, even a blow dryer, some kind of heat that's gonna allow you to train the fibers to go this direction. Because right now, clearly they wanna fall forward a bit, and they're also a little bit like poofy. So if you do want a center part though, know that it is kind of possible with Milano, and it kind of gives you a long layer in the front here on each side. So you do have these longer layers in the front to frame your face, which is nice. But I'm gonna get this back to the left part because that is where it wants to be. And when you have this left part here, that's what gives you a little bit more of this sort of swooping effect on the right side of your head here. So like I said, Milano is made with heat-friendly synthetic fiber, as are all of Belle Tress's styles, like all of them. They're all heat-friendly synthetic fiber. One thing to note about heat-friendly synthetic fiber, which I talk about all the time, is that the longer your style is with that type of fiber, the harder it's going to be to maintain, and the more you're going to have to maintain it. These long heat-friendly styles get tangly, they get frizzy, they get frazzly, and it happens pretty quickly. So you'll need to know that if you're going to be getting a long heat-friendly synthetic wig like Milano, you're gonna have to maintain it with heat. I have recently done a video all about that and how to fix your frizzy frazzly ends or your clumpy fibers. So take a look at that video, and that's gonna help you out. But essentially, you'll just need to spray it with water and add some heat to the ends to get rid of any frizz that might show up as you're wearing it. All right, so one more thing to note about Milano is that it is a lower density style. So when I talk about density, that just means how much hair has been tied to this cap. Is there a lot of hair? Is there a little bit of hair? And you know what, with Milano, there's not a lot of hair. So that's why we would call it a low density style. So when I put it in a ponytail here, I don't have a huge amount in my hands. It's pretty low density. And since I'm doing this right here, Milano makes a really lovely ponytail. So I'll kind of get her into one for you. I always pull fibers forward to help disguise that lace front, just to make it a little bit more natural and also a little bit more imperfect. I find the more perfect you try and make a style with your wig, the more it's gonna look like a wig. So it's okay for it to be a little bit imperfect, a little bit messy, but this is Milano in a little bit of an updo ponytail, which is really lovely. Okay, now let's say you have Milano, you love the waves, but you're really wanting to have a little bit more of a straight style, but with something that is a similar length, similar layering situation, same part line, all of that stuff. If you are looking for something similar to Milano, but straighter, I want you to check out Beverly Hills. So Beverly Hills is along the same lines. It's a very similar length, maybe like a touch longer, but at the same time, if you think about it, when you're putting a wave or a curl into a style, it's gonna shorten it just a little bit. So Beverly Hills here, it's a similar length, a touch longer, like I said. It also has a left part, just like Milano does. And now the rest of the cap, I'm not gonna go over because this is a city collection style, which means it's the exact same cap as Milano here. So I'm gonna take off Milano, put on Beverly Hills, so we can see how it's kind of a good option to switch from if you want a straighter style. Now, of course, it's not gonna be exactly the same, but it is a similar option. And quite honestly, who looks that closely to know where exactly you have all the layers happening? So here's Beverly Hills. You're gonna notice, like I said, just a touch longer. On the right side, you're gonna have a similar layering situation with this swoopiness on the right side of your head. What you will find though, on the left side here, I find the layers here are a bit shorter than you would have found on Milano. So just note that. But we have a very similar situation over here. The density is very similar in Beverly Hills. You don't have any permatease in Beverly Hills, just like you have no permatease in Milano, which I forgot to mention. But overall, if you're looking for a similar length, similar situation in the front here, and where you're able to get colors that are the same, you could interchange Beverly Hills and Milano and get away with it, I think. So let me do a little spin for you. You can see all of Beverly Hills. So like I said, this is gonna be the same left part here. You're also gonna have the same lace front situation going on, similar layering in the front. I do find that Beverly Hills has a little bit more layering in general throughout your style, but honestly, you guys, people out in the world are gonna have no idea about the layering situation when you're switching up the style to something a little bit more wavy like this. They're not gonna pay attention to something like that. They're just gonna think you styled your hair a little bit different. And like I said, you can get the same colors in these because they are both Belle Tress and they are both from the City Collection. I am wearing the color Buttered Toast Rooted, which is another color that is a really lovely brown blonde mix, just like Macadamia Latte Rooted was. However, if you notice, Macadamia Latte Rooted definitely leans a lot warmer than Buttered Toast Rooted. Buttered Toast Rooted is very cool and ash. So Buttered Toast Rooted is gonna have a base of a medium cool brunette. And then we have ash, like very ash toned highlights all throughout your style here with a medium brown root. So both are great for that sort of in-between brown blonde look, but Macadamia Latte Rooted, much warmer, Buttered Toast, much cooler and ashier. And just as a note, you're seeing me here in front of a window with natural light shining on me. There's no sunlight right now in front of me. There's a lot of cloud. It is very overcast out, but it's also quite bright with all the clouds, like they're bright clouds. So what you see here on your screen is likely a little bit brighter than it actually is in real life. Hold on, I'm gonna move this over here so I can take a step back here, and you can see how it darkens quite a bit when I take a step away from the window. Then I'm gonna come closer and we are suddenly much brighter, but of course you're able to see the colors more easily when I'm closer, and you can see that dimension here. Okay, let me take off Beverly Hills and throw on Milano one more time so we can see kind of the difference here. Hopefully you'll notice, again, this is very much the same, but on the left side here, it's longer, like I was mentioning. On Beverly Hills, it's a bit shorter. The layering is a little different. There's not as much layering in Milano. But overall, it would be pretty easy to interchange the styles so that you can go from a nice loosely wave style to a more like structured straight style like Beverly Hills is. Okay, you guys, that is pretty much all I have to share with you about these styles. As always, if you have any questions, let me know below. I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. But if you don't have any questions, you're always welcome to leave a comment, say hello, give me some feedback, let me know if there's anything you want to see from me. I'm always happy to take your comments into consideration to see if there's something else I can show you that I haven't already. But if you don't feel like commenting, then that's okay too. You can just carry on your merry way. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.